I'm Glenn, Island Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube, and this round we're talking Galveston Fishing Pier 2022 trip, our trip last week where yours truly and our fishing buddy were able to catch a few fish, and we want to just give you some lessons learned. Over the years, I think this is like our 10th year doing this, where we go and hit the coast, and every year it seems to be that, we get a little bit better, or we improve our catch rate. In fact, we got some personal bests here with nice size shark, as well as 2 redfish, and even one of the big uglies, one of the black drums. And so what I want to do here is just give you a recap of the 4 days that we were there fishing, and maybe a few key items to take away if you decide to go and hit Galveston Fishing Pier. So let's just recap some of the events that happened. Day 1, we fished at night, ended up catching a 41-inch redfish, yours truly, using 50-pound tests and a boat rod. It's a really good boat rod that I like. A lot of gaff top as well, some good size one, all on cut bait. And then I started playing around with catching some of those sand trout with some fish bites, using about 15-pound test on, I think it was a medium heavy spinning reel combo setup, as well as a ultralight bait finesse style, because I wanted to try out that Shimano Scorpion 17 BFS XG out on the salt water, because I heard that you can use it in salt water because it has sealed bearings, and guess what, it worked out really nice. Only difference I did was I added 10-pound braid instead of the 6-pound test mono that I use over there. Let's see, day 2, our fishing buddy ended up getting a 38-inch redfish, as well as a number of small sharks. I think I caught a small shark as well. Did lose a larger one. Our fishing buddy had it on there briefly, but he snapped the line. It was 17-pound test, so guess what? We quickly switched over to 50-pound test, and I think we were good after that. Sand trout-wise, I was using a spec rig on that ultralight bait casting setup, that Shimano. And I think I have a video out on that one already, just showing the retrieve that I use and the capability of that little ultralight caster. And oh, I forgot how much I like the old H&H vintage style spec rigs. I think I was using the worm one, little curly tail one, or not curly tail, it was a straight worm-like one, and then one with a split tail. And that worked out really well. Day 3, another night fishing trip. This was a lot of small sharks on cut bait. More bull reds that other folks saw, that were there, that we saw, as well as some small sharks. Again, that 50-pound test mono on that boat rod, Penn Squall 15 reel, did really well for us. Day 4 was a day trip, or we went in the day instead of night. We were fishing the tides, and the tides were going to be later that day, but we knew there was a storm coming in on Friday. So our day 4 was a Thursday. And we noticed some kind of change in the wind as well as the current. So we decided to go and fish today and see what happened. And we lucked out because it definitely started storming later that evening, that Thursday, day 4. But we ended up getting a 30-inch black drum, some more small sharks, and then that 54-inch black-tip shark that our fishing buddy got him on. And again, it's that 50-pound test mono, that boat rod. We'll probably do a product review on that, since I think it's like now two iterations of taking that out there, and had some really good success catching some fish with that setup. Okay, some key takeaways or lessons learned this round. 1, the 50-pound test mono, that was a game changer. It definitely did not worry about breaking off, especially since we also had it coupled with that weed eater line that's supposedly 400-pound mono strength, or at least equivalent. So that weed eater line is still 0.095 diameter. Weed eater line. We used that Malin wire and did a haywire twist with the hooks on there, as well as attaching it to the leader, and those homemade spider weights that I still had from last time where I was making my own. Well, I made so many I was able to just go ahead and keep using the ones that we had. I'd have to make any more new ones. And that hedgehog setup that we use, where we have one of the prongs going up and the other prongs going down, gives you a little better chance of holding on the sand floor. And that worked out well as well. I think we got some video on that also. Sand trout, that was the go-to fish when it came to catching them on that ultralight bait caster rig, as well as those fish bites. We tried various baits, the sand trout, the whiting, perch, even some live perch, as well as some croaker. And we noticed that the live perch got a good strike on one of the sharks that broke off, but sand trout seemed to be the one that did well, as well as ladyfish. We had an opportunity to use some ladyfish that someone had given us, and the fish tore that one up. Let's see. Other lessons learned this round: fish the tides, except when that pre-storm one, we ended up fishing pre-storm. Just go ahead and fish the day because that was the opportunity that we had. But when we were timing our fishing trips for the day, we would time it where we're getting ready to always have some tide, high tide. I think it was like about 4 hours before high tide, then 4 hours after. We were able to get a good round of fishing in, as well as get some good action as well. And then, let's see, bring a net. Gotta have a net. Don't know what we'd have done many times this round if we didn't have that net, especially with the big redfish, the big ugly, as well as the that 54-inch blacktip shark. So, okay, just to reiterate again, great time. Galveston Fishing Pier 2022 trip is in the books, and we had another successful time. Let's see, and again, reiterate, 50-pound test, yes. That weeder line, mail-in wire, and spider rig setup, that was working well for us again, so we're going to continue doing that. The sand trout for bait and using fish bites, as well as those tandem rigs to get that bait, was working really well as well. And then fish those tides, except when at pre-storm conditions where we just timed it before the storm because we could see there was a weather change, or at least some change in the pattern for that day. And it seemed like the fish were biting much better than we expected. And then finally, the net. Bring a net. All right, all for now. Next time, we'll catch you all later. Good luck. Good fishing.